Hey YouTube, what's poppin'? It's your girl and I am back with another video today, guys. I am back with a collab. Guys, I have a super special guest here with me today. We have a few questions for each other. We're gonna get some smoothies going and just really have a good sip and talk right now. We're really about to just get straight into the video. So before we get into the video, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to get a notification when I post, and we can get straight into the video. Guys, so I am here with Jay, but I want you to introduce yourself. I want you to, tell them what you do, what it is that you do, who you go by. Who are you? Like, who are you?
Hi, I'm Iwa. I'm a recording artist and a songwriter. I'm representing District 7 of the Gila River Indian community right here in Arizona. And yeah, you can find me at Queen_Iwa anywhere you're doing social media. And then I'm also on all streaming platforms also. But we'll get into that.
We'll definitely get into that. But you guys know I always hook you up. So if you guys want to, check out his Instagram or any of the links, I have everything in the description below. So make sure you guys check that out. We are here and we're just going to be asking each other a few deep dive questions. And I know that you have an album coming out soon, or within the next few months. And I feel like I haven't really been able to open up to you guys in a while. So I figured that we would ask each other a few deep dive questions. So you have some deep dive questions for me. I have some deep dive questions for you.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it. Okay. I think we'll just start. I know that you're from Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to ask, what do you find yourself missing the most about home?
I mean, as cliche as this might sound, I definitely will have to say the reservation. The reservation back home for me is much different. It's a lot more greenery and it's truly home. I think just being able to be out with my family and go hunting with my dad and really have that one-on-one time with him, be able to ride the ATVs, the side-by-sides, my brothers. But all that, when I think of my family, when I think about hanging out with my brothers and I think about hanging out with my dad, I always just think about spending time on the reservation, because that's where we have our most quality time, I feel like. And that is something I miss, is having quality time with my family, but also, on the reservation. And just being out and being home, it's definitely a different atmosphere on the reservation, but it's a different home here for me as well. So it's two different homes, and I love that I have two different homes.
That's nice. Yeah, it just brings out the different parts of yourself, your whole being.
Yeah. Okay, my first question for you. I wanted you to tell me about a time where you felt like you wanted to give up and didn't. So basically, how do you deal with failure?
Wow. We're really going for it, huh?
Yeah, I just went straight in for the kill.
I respect it. For me, I have a real perfectionist streak. So I think maybe the most recent one was when I was making music before I was Iwa. I was feeling really constrained by the limitations I put on myself as far as genre, even the name I was going by. It became like a box. It didn't feel like a mode of expression anymore. It felt like a container that I was trapped in. There were definitely moments there where I was I should just stop making music. I'm not responding to this, people aren't responding to this, and I'm really happy about how I continued through that. And I think I just didn't settle for mediocrity in that situation. I was okay, I know that I want to do this, so I just got to level it up, create a space where I can continue to create at the highest level possible and be excellent. And so I just challenged myself to really push to that level.
And I really love how you brought up rebranding, because I feel like even for my supporters here, you guys seen me, go through so many different waves of my channel. I don't have to confine myself to just one type of video or only motivational or only pranks. You can rebrand yourself, and you don't have to feel if something isn't working out for you, you don't have to quit all around. Sometimes that rebranding is so crucial.
There was some lack of confidence, I think, for me. No, have some confidence in yourself. You can be great. You can create at an excellent level. You can make music that you've never even thought about making before, and challenge yourself in the studio, get the right people around you. It was really good for me as a person, but also obviously as an artist too.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do love that. That was a good answer to that question.
You ready for my next question?
I am.
What is something you're receiving now that younger you really needed?
That was deep. Wow.
We're going there.
It's really crazy you asked me this, because this is something I actually have just been receiving only within this last month.
Whoa.
But something that I've been receiving now is being valued as an Indigenous woman. I didn't receive that at all when I was younger, like at all. And like the identity crisis I went through at such a young age, trying to figure out who I was so hard because my mom is a white woman and my dad, he has only ever been with white women. And I don't shame him for that at all. Like my dad knows I love him. You know I love you, dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? That is all you. You know, growing up, like I didn't really have that direction, you know, from an indigenous woman.
That's fair.
But also, you know, just seeing my father, you know, value and show that type of love to white women, you know, like I said, which is not bad. I just didn't see that for girls like me. It had me picking and being with people that didn't value one, me as a person, but didn't value me and my culture in relationships. And that's why I tended to have a lot of failed relationships, because when you don't value me as as a proud indigenous woman, you know what I'm saying?
You let them know.
Okay, like as a proud indigenous woman, it causes a lot of hardships, not only in a relationship, but also like within my self-esteem. And again, like causing more identity crisis, even though I had already started my reconnection journey. Like I felt like sometimes being in a relationship where I'm not valued as an indigenous woman set me back. You know, recently, like I've been talking to someone and they really go out of their way to like share that value and make it known like every single day that I am valued, and just really make me feel valid, like making me feel, what's the word, like
Seen, like
seen.
known.
Very, very grateful for that. And I'm so blessed to be able to start receiving that type of love and recognition.
Yeah.
But I needed that the most when I was younger.
That's
because
real.
I just went through so much at such a young age.
That's
and
real.
fell into so many different crowds and tried to fit in with so many different crowds. And that was hard.
Yeah.
That was really hard.
Yes to all of that.
Yes.
I echo that. It's 2023. Like, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Like the bar is up here now.
And the bar's up here, but I raised it even further
I'm
just
saying,
because.
good, as you should.
My second question is, what is a piece of wisdom that you have received that you use in your day-to-day life?
I was just thinking about this actually the other day. This is actually shouts Kevin Durant. His quotation, and I believe he got it from his coach in high school, but he says, hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard.
I literally did a reel. With that exact quote. Hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle.
That's it, yeah.
Like
that's
straight
really
up.
For me, like I'm a huge basketball head. If anybody knows me, like that's like where I'm at, and a lot of my inspiration comes from there. So just watching him like work, it's not just like that he said it. I just see it in practice. Like when I like watch him play the game, like he's just not only talented but working really hard to stay at like a high level. So for me, like it's like something to tap into, like when I'm creating, because he's like so cerebral. He's like passionate. He's like stone cold, calm under pressure. Like I just take on a lot of that, and it comes from like just really resonating with those words early in life, and you live with a quotation like that, and it changes for you over time, like what that means. And
Absolutely.
So it's something I've kept with me for a long time. So
reiterating that, like you carry that with you every day, and it's just like that quote or that sentence or those words that stick with you every single day, and you just like see more and more out of it every single day than what you like felt or how you viewed it yesterday.
Yeah, that's fair. I like never want to just be viewed as a talented person. I want to be like, wow, Iwa really works hard at their craft. Like they're talented, but they're also like continuing to elevate themselves.
Yeah, and very dedicated. That's like me as well. Like I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, like you know, she's a good YouTuber because she knows how to record and edit. Like no, like bro, like I've hustled through adversities. You know what I'm saying? I've like continued to keep going even though I fell off or I didn't post for a long time or I didn't want to post. Like, and it just says more than talent will ever say.
Yeah, that inner knowing for you of like, I have something to share with the world. That's like audacious and bold to just be like, I'm putting myself out there. I'm going full out with that. Like that, I respect that so much.
Yeah, but same with your music as well, though, too, because it's like it's one thing to like make music, but to be able to tell stories through music and like be so vulnerable with it, not only telling the story, but like sharing it in such a different and powerful way is like I commend you for that.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I would love to be able to like tell some of the stories that like I share just like talking or like with you know what I'm saying through music, but I'm just like I could never. Don't even want to try.
In the next 30 seconds, everything you say out loud would just come true. What would you say?
I am the most well-known and inspirational Indigenous woman. Like everyone knows me for that. I am very big within the community, just for like always like continuing to bring the culture wherever I go. And I think that's something I'm really now starting to get recognized for. But like even when I do like music videos, like, you know, like, oh, I'm just gonna be in the back of a music video, like I'm always making sure I'm putting on for the people.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna wear my jewelry happily. Every time I walk in a room, like I'm gonna proudly say, like, yeah, I'm like Oneida Nation. Like I'm coming in here and I'm like, you know, putting on and representing for the people. Like everything I do is like always coming back to the culture. And like I've always just said, you know, like I don't even care about like, you know, I used to say a lot, like, I'm going to be the first Indigenous woman to touch $1 billion, not even a million, $1 billion. Over time, it's not even about the money for me no more. Cause you know, like the money will come and the money will go,
That's
but
right.
it's like, I'm always going to put the money back into the land, like
That's
land
right.
back. Listen, not putting aside like the whole money factor. Like I just want to be like a really big inspiration of mine is Kuhana. Like I love how like people can look at her and just be like, you know, like be like, oh, what does she do? And like she just does so much for the community, but
Right.
everyone just knows her as that one Indigenous girl
Yeah.
that she just be putting on.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know what
whether
I'm
you know
saying?
everything about her or like you've just seen, like you know who that is.
You
She's
know-
like iconic at every level.
At every level.
That's
and I
real.
and I love that. And like that's, you know, who I've literally aspired to be. And like I've aspired to be that type of woman before she even really like got recognized.
Yeah.
So it's like to see it now, like I know that it's available and I know that it's on its way to me as well. So there's nothing even more that I want to say in 30 seconds. It's just that I'm gonna be, I don't even want to be the most well known because it's like there's so many Indigenous women that like can sell. Like just going to like that entire event, like I was like, I don't even want to take all the sunlight. Like I want every girl to be up there with me. Like
That's
I want
real.
every woman to be up there with me. So it's like, but like I just want to be known for like putting on for the people, putting on for all the biracial natives. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
The natives that, you know, were adopted and didn't grow up with the culture. The natives that are reconnecting. You know what I'm saying? Like I want everyone to look and be like, yeah, that's that one biracial native that like grew up without the culture, but like she totally connected back to the culture. And by reconnecting back to the culture, not only was she able to help other natives reconnect, but I was able to help my family reconnect as well. And I think that's really powerful because growing up, like I wouldn't say my family's fully disconnected, but I wouldn't say that connection was held really big. Obviously, we know how intergenerational trauma is, and it's still something that I feel like I have yet to talk about too much over my channel, just for the basic fact that you know, my family still is working on healing, and it's still in the process of healing, and still in the process of reconnection, and that's very sacred. And I feel like, you know, just while we're going through this time of reconnection and, you know, connecting back with each other and the culture, I think just like being respectful of that. I haven't talked too much on it, but I just want to put on more for the people and just be known as, you know, that one Indigenous girl that just does all the things. You know, she's a model, she's a YouTuber,
Yes.
she's a business owner, she's an entrepreneur, she does all the things.
Yeah.
So how would you personally define success, and what does success mean to you?
And I struggle a lot with this, to just be fully transparent on the front end. I struggle a lot with holding a set idea of what the vision is. Sometimes I look at my station and I look at like what my family's going through, and I'm like, man, like if I just keep climbing, like I'm gonna pull them all out. I'm gonna like, you know, and that's really like what's been on my heart as my like parents get older and as like my community continues to like experience loss. I'm like, I'm just gonna pluck everybody, and it's like I really like feel strongly that what I'm creating as an artist and like who I am as a person has that kind of draw to like be somebody that's on the global stage. And that's like what I'm working towards. I'm not necessarily like worried about that at the end of the day. Like I think we'll get there. I pride myself on what I'm able to do in the studio that you can't necessarily even do live, but also performing. And performing like since I was very young, maybe 4 or 5. Like I just was always inclined for the stage, like never really felt stage fright. Like you probably realize that too, but like you just get in that moment where you're like in your purpose, and it's just like there's nobody here that can tell me I'm not great at this. You might not like it, you might not like it might not be where I'm at right now, but you can't like say that I'm not great at what I do. It's a testament, I think, to hard work. I just continue to draw inward, like when I feel put off by like outside voices, outside like response. Because when I draw inward, it's like more inspiration, new albums, new photo shoots, new, you know, everything.
Yeah.
Like it flows out of me when I'm able to just put out the distracting like outside voices and just flow. Like,
Yeah.
it's good.
That's why I think it's so imperative to have a purpose for what you're doing other than just money. Because a lot of people will go after something because they're like, yeah, I want to be a millionaire. I want to have a lot of money. You know, I want to do this so I can have a nice car and flashy clothes. When you're really passionate about something, you know, and it doesn't boil down to money, and it just boils down to like, you know, I just want to do this. So like for me, I utilize my platform and my YouTube channel because I want people to hear what I have to say.
That's right.
I feel like I have a lot of things that I have to say and I want people to be able to hear it. So like because I don't do it for money and because I do it because of that, I'm able to like you said, like draw inwards in times of adversity and really like, you know, figure out how to climb those mountains and you know, like get over that bump in the road.
When you think about having purpose and like, yeah, the bag is going to come, like just knowing that when you're living your purpose and you're living like an intentional way of being, but you're also not going to like get stuck in just having the bag and like being selfish with it in that way. It's like your passion will be directly linked to how you like reinvest your money and like what you like your legacy, like what you build up out of that. Like you can't take any of that with you. So if you end up with a bag tomorrow, I hope that you would like invest it in like the betterment of the world in some way, even like in a small way. That's like,
or even if it's like your craft, because like sometimes your craft can be the better of the world. You know?
Yeah. So you're talking about purpose. I think my curiosity is like about your view of yourself, like in relation to like an entire universe. Where do you sense your points of connection with like the universe? You do what you will with the question.
Where do you feel like you stand within the universe? I feel like it's like wherever I go, the universe stands like within me.
Whoa.
And like it's so powerful to say that because like I'm a Cancer, and like, you know, I'm always like, you know, like I feel like I'm a big water sign, so you know, I just like connect differently to water, but it's like I connect differently to different, you know, things. So it's like when I'm around the water, I'm able to really like express and heal that inner child of mine, and that little girl that was never validated within herself as a person, but herself as a little Indigenous girl. But then it's like I go to the mountains and that like teenage self that was really like unidentified with who she was and like trying to be all these other people that she was not, you know, she always gets questions answered. Will answer questions that I had to ask myself when I was like 15 or 16 years old, like as I'm walking, and I'm like, whoa, girl, I'm like, you need to hear that. But now I like will make videos so I can like basically I'm talking to myself, but I know that there's people out there that can resonate. That's why I put my stuff out there when I'm home on the reservation, just like taking walks in the woods or, you know, just like outside in general. And there's always a sign, like there's always confirmation. Like I don't know if you've seen my Instagram story the other day, but I was making a motivational Monday video. I had hiked all the way to the top, and then I was like, on my way down, I'll make the video because like I want to gain all like the knowledge and all like have all these like really like, you know, euphoric thoughts on my way up, so then I can have so much more to talk about on my way down. I was like headed down and everything, but on my way up there was this hummingbird following me, and I was like, I see you, you know, I see you. I got to the top and I was sitting up there reading and writing and journaling and all that good stuff, and the hummingbird was still up there. And then I had made my way down and I set my camera up and everything, and I had the camera set up and I had literally just sat down and I was like, all right guys, hey YouTube, what's poppin'? And hummingbird was like right on the side of the camera, and I literally said to the camera, I was like, there's literally this hummingbird that's been following me around this entire hike. I love that for myself. I'm continuing to talk to the camera, but mind you, I'm like talking to myself. Like everything I'm saying, I'm talking to myself, but I know it's like resonating with people. So I'm like talking to myself, and I literally said the words. I said, you've carried all this weight and you've learned all these things. And right as I said that, the hummingbird flew right into the camera for like 3 seconds and just kind of waited there to like pretty much, I'm pretty sure, just confirm to me what I was saying, but also like confirm just like the entirety of the hike. Like everything I learned and everything I was talking about. And it was just a beautiful moment. Just having that hummingbird like fly in there was just like major verification for me that like the universe lives within me. And like I don't have to go anywhere or be at a certain place to feel that the universe is with me, because I am. And that's literally it. But we're gonna relocate.
This commercial.
Right, and we're gonna be right back after this commercial break. Okay, I am on my 4th question. I was like, I have a good question for you. This is that question. Tell me about how you overcame your self-discovery and what that looked like for you.
Whoa. Well, from a really early age, I was involved with like religious spaces. So like my self-discovery journey really started when I've never told this story before.
Tell it.
Okay,
I'm ready to
here we
hear
go.
it.
Started when I was attending school at IAI, the Pantheon of Indigenous Literature, Institute of American Indian Art in Santa Fe, if you're unfamiliar. While I was there, I met a phenomenal human who like really embraced me and really like brought me into the fold, and like I just really felt comfortable in their presence and felt like I was learning so much from just like watching them walk in the world. After my first year, they graduated. So I went back my second year, and like suddenly I felt so much like I needed to also shepherd in a way. That's a strong word, but in a way I needed to like lead first years along in the same way that I was led. And so this wonderful friend of mine now, but like somebody that was just meeting, realized I was talking so much about this person I'd encountered in my first year. And they're like, you say like all the things that you're doing, like you did with them, like they taught you how to kind of move this way. Like, were y'all a thing? I was like, no, like immediately just like recoiled, like, no, 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 no. It's like not like that. Like, I just really thought they were amazing and wanna, like it was almost like tradition. Like we were making tradition. I was like, I just want to like keep up with like what we started in my first year. And then like I spent more time thinking about it, and really like it just opened my eyes to the possibility that like attractions could be weighted differently, like across gender lines, or maybe like there was space enough for me to be like something other than myself, my sexuality to be something different. Like so it was really not just a time where I was becoming a better writer, a better creative person, but like a more fully realized version of myself. So the tie-in is that I was still in like those religious spaces and like coming to these sort of like inner agreements, and like decided I just couldn't persist in that space. So I made the decision and like kind of cut my ties with like organized religion. It gave me the space to like really just step into myself as a being. And like Iwa does not exist unless I go through that self-discovery journey of like understanding my like gender expression, understanding like my sexual identity and stuff like that too. I feel so much more empowered in that, and also to like not feel performative. That's like another level of gender expression. It's like, well, if you live your life as a man, like most of your life just a straight man, like identifying that way, as soon as you like consider the other, you want to go the other end of the spectrum. And like that part of my journey was really beautiful too, where I was like wearing different clothes and I was like wearing makeup, and like I'm so thankful for that. And it brought like the most amazing people into my life, like Prados Beauty. Like they are some of my day one supporters, and my time with them has been beautiful and like so meaningful to this whole Iwa thing. Over time, I just have felt like more freedom to really kind of like just dress like how I feel comfortable, and like what I feel is expressive as me as a person, and just kind of lean into like being and not feel like I have to switch up to like prove something to anybody. So if you think about it as like a rose, like it has like so many layers. You peel out the outside petals, and there's so many like packed in just this bud, like in the innermost. And like it really has been that journey of blossoming, but then also like understanding that there's layers to get to the core of like who I am.
Some way, shape, or form, we've all been through, that story you just told.
Yes.
Maybe differently, maybe not like as like dramatic or traumatic. Definitely like a beautiful story to tell. And I think I want to thank you for opening up and being able to share that with my channel and my people's, because sometimes not only is it like, oh, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's just like you don't have to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to explain yourself or your story, and you don't have to share it at all.
My Instagram handle was Who Is Iwa? And it was like that earliest part of my journey where I was like, still, I'm this and I'm this, and I'm still figuring this out, and this is where it's at right now. And like it was just really important. Like when I was doing Who Is Iwa, and that's before any music was out. I really wanted to establish like who is at the root of like this creativity.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful space to just be able to like be open, and like I feel free to do so.
Absolutely. And I'm very, very glad that you feel that energy, because that's the only energy I try to radiate. So last question.
All right. Final round. I've loved recently your posts regarding your celibacy journey.
Oh,
so
I love talking about my celibacy journey. What?
Well, I promise I was not paid to like ask this question specifically. Just genuinely, I feel like it's not something that's celebrated, and like you know what, like y'all do you, whatever your vibe is. But my question is, because you're on this celibacy journey, like what do you feel like you're learning in this season of intentionality?
Oh, so I've always been like super like I've always said I've been super intentional with energy. I'm really intentional about who I bring in my house. I'm really intentional about, who I allow in my business, who I allow in my space, who I allow to hear about my dreams. But I think I was in the midst of a relationship when I had started a celibacy journey, and then I broke the celibacy. And it took me a few more months to really get back on my stern celibacy journey, because I had said I wanted to be celibate for 365 days, a whole year. I had started that while I was in a relationship, and it had nothing to do with the relationship. I, have only ever talked highly about that relationship and that person. I had to really step back and realize that in our relationship, we were on different wavelengths. So what would happen a lot is that person would be feeling, not so much so themselves and feeling really down. And I was feeling, really good and really motivated. And we would have that energy exchange.
Whoa. Yeah.
And I'm really I pick up energies like that. That's why I'm super intentional about who's in my crib, because sometimes people will come in and it's not that they intentionally leave bad energy. They'll leave and energies linger. So they might be going through something mentally, and I'm wondering why. I wake up the next day and I'm like, why do I just feel like so blah? I just feel down bad. I just feel no motivation. And it's because, that person's energy of, no motivation had lingered in the crib. Having that energy exchange, and while they're really down and I'm really up, I would notice that after the energy exchange, their energy would be going up as mine would be going down. And then we'd have another energy exchange and their energy would be going up and it would just be a back and forth thing, and we could just never be on the same wavelength. So I had said, I think we should, be celibate. It's not that we have to break up. I think we should be celibate, not have any sexual energy exchange, because when it comes to sex is the highest form of energy exchange.
That's real.
So I was like, let's take a break and just really focus in on us, and focus in on our relationship. And then when we feel like we're at that point, then we can, we can regroup, and it'll just be so much better for us, and it'll be great. That in itself had brought in more problems than maybe, and I don't want to say it should have, because everything happens for a reason, but than I thought it was going to bring. I thought this was going to be so healthy, and it was going to be great, and it was going to take our relationships to great lengths. And that's just not what that had in store for us. Caused more problems within the relationship, trust issues, and overthinking. Initially, just couldn't really be together. I, broke my celibacy for somebody that was random. You start to go celibate for a long time. I had been going on 7 months.
Wow.
And when you don't, when you're going on celibacy for a long time, it was my first, celibacy journey. I was 21 years old, and I was like, what, maybe I want to step into my, and I hate calling it a hoe phase, because just because you want to have sex with other people and you can handle that energy exchange doesn't make you a hoe.
And that's on period.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you anything, but just nowadays, this generation, we call it a hoe phase.
We're using the vernacular that we all understand.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a phase where you're open.
Yeah.
And
exactly. So
down to explore.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to explore and whatever. And, I had this energy exchange with that person. And I'm talking about for 48 hours after that, I was down bad. Down bad. Had the worst thoughts from childhood trauma to teenage trauma come up. Couldn't even pull myself out of the funk. Didn't shower. Couldn't literally move from the couch. It was really bad. I say this all to say, restarting my celibacy journey and now going through a whole new celibacy journey, intentionally for me, it just has shown me truly the value of an energy exchange. I used to talk a lot about it, but really seeing and then feeling it firsthand, and then going through celibacy and breaking the celibacy and seeing that and feeling that, understanding it more. And then now going through it again, it's just I am so intentional about, friendships and, possible relationships. And when it comes to, working, I'm a really hard worker, and, I work really hard to provide everything I have for myself at a young age. Mm-hmm. I've been like that since I'm younger, because I didn't really have shit growing up. And I grew up knowing I wanted more for myself. So I work really hard to, live where I live and have what I have, but not even allowing a job to make me feel sort of way or get me out of my body and have that certain energy
Yep.
exchange was super important for me. So when it comes to celibacy, and being intentional, I just feel like it's that intentional like energy, like who do I want to be, and finding who I want to be and not allowing anyone or anything to like break me out of that or
Mm.
get me feeling any sort of way or second guessing that person that I am because of an energy exchange.
Yeah.
And realizing that, hey, like it's okay to hang out with someone and be like, I didn't really like the energy that they gave me in that energy exchange just from the hangout, and being like, like I can still love you as a person and as a friend, but I'm going to love you from over here and not over there by you, because I can no longer move with you like that no more. Like I can no longer be around your energy, but it's no hate. I love you, but I'm going to love you from over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just guarding the self, like valuing yourself, and it's not even devaluing another person.
Well, and that's why I said, I don't talk anything bad about anybody that I've had to like cut off or remove from my life. I literally deeply love with all of my heart everyone that I've had to let go. Like, and I'll always have love. I'm a Cancer woman. So it's like, it's just in me. Like I love so hard and I'll continue to love. But like I said, I'm a love from right here, because I can't love you from over there no more.
And that's real. Nobody's ever going to see you like show up with switched up energy. Like, you're going to keep coming to it with your full self, and like when it's finally like getting the recognition it deserves, like it's never going to be fake. Like you're never going to be caught on an off day. Like,
yeah,
we're doing it
exactly all the time. And I think that's also why like I started my sobriety journey.
I love that. That's
like not only has like celibacy like taught me like just when it comes down to like being intentional with like my energy and like my relationships and friendships and where I'm working, but also just like being like intentional with like what like I don't want to be anyone other than me. That really brings me, it's like this last question is going to be such a good one to like not only leave you guys off with, but to allow your peoples to come here and really gain advice, or anyone that kind of like looks up to you or looks up to what you do in your music. But advice that you would give Indigenous creatives or creatives in general, whether it comes down to photography, music, content creation, what would be advice that you would give to them?
To preface really quick, if you are here because you follow me, like thank you for rocking with my homegirl, and vice versa. Like if this is your mainstay and this is like your channel you go to, thanks for spending some time with me today. I want to say to Indigenous creatives, you don't have to be the first anything. You don't have to be the best ever anything. And I feel like this is just speaking from experience, because where I come from, I'm Pipash and I'm also Quetzan. And those are, in the broader scheme of things, like relatively smaller tribes. My whole journey has been like, oh, I'm going to be like, I already know I'm like the first, and I already know I'm like doing it, and like never seen anybody do it like I've done it, and nobody's been here. Recently, like I was really blessed to like work on this cool songwriting project for ESPN, and those songs have been used for the NBA playoffs this season. And so it's like, thank you. It's like, yeah, I know that those things are not being done, but at the same time, like that's such a huge amount of pressure to be like, I'm gonna be the first one there, and feel like you're racing everybody around you, and feel like you like have to come up quicker. The beauty of the generations that will come forward, like from here, is like I hope that the work that I'm doing is like continuing to open doors and like show people that there's possibility. Instead of feeling like you're racing the person next to you, feel like you can reach out and like be helpful to them. Like what do you do that they don't do, and vice versa? Like how can you help up like the people around you that are also on the come up? And I preach this so often, and maybe this is where it attaches to like people more broadly, but like there's enough crowns to go around. We're not all chasing one crown. Anyone that's sitting at home that's like, oh, I only listen to one artist and one artist only, like that's just not a thing. Like you have different vibes, different days, different trips you're going on, like different feelings, and those things are attached to like different types of artists. So even if you think about just one community like mine, like producing artists, oh, my friends One Way Sky, like they're from Gila River also, and we make totally different music, and like I could never dream of doing the things that they do. I know where I want to be when those moments come for them. It's definitely like on the sideline like cheering versus like in the crowd like hating. So I think that that's like ultimately my view of everything. And then when I think about that time coming for me, because it will.
It definitely will. And I think that's like such a beautiful, thing to say, because, like with just this generation, this mindset we have this mindset of, I want to do it first, and just having a what's in it for me mindset.
That's fair.
And not just like thinking about, the broader and brighter picture. We've all struggled, especially as Indigenous people here, we've all struggled with not having representation growing up when it comes to, Indigenous YouTube representation. I don't know YouTubers I can go that are Indigenous that, are doing what I'm doing, or, like Indigenous music representation, or even for what Kinsell got going on. I bring up Kinsell a lot just because we were able to, meet and have this collaboration through the Indian Girls Book Club.
Yeah.
And, her being 23, she's just a little bit older than me, and, doing what she's doing, and talking at Apple, and organizing events and stuff. And it's just like so crazy to see. I know she didn't have that representation when she was young. She tells us about it all the time.
Yeah.
She didn't have spaces to go and listen to other Indigenous poets, or read read from Indigenous authors and stuff. And seeing her create that community and bringing Indigenous authors together, we're really just out here building the representation that we lacked as children.
Yeah,
and I think it's so beautiful that we're all, just out here being the representation for our younger youth, but it's not a race. And, we're not going against each other. It's not, what's in it for me, and, how can I be better than them, or do better than them, or get there faster than them, or, be the first. It's, just really knowing that your time is coming. And while your time is coming, you're going to see other people's time, there and happening, and just being happy. I look at, a lot of the girls that I'm following, and sometimes I cry because I'm like, dang, they're doing the thing, and I know I'm going to be there one day. I literally see myself, you know what I'm saying? It's super, super empowering. And I love that you said that. And, if you're listening and you're Indigenous, and, you're doing something for yourself, and you're trying to establish something, keep going, and, support the people around you, support other creatives around you, and other Indigenous creatives around you. And, try to inspire the Indigenous peoples that, want to get into something, but haven't quite yet found their purpose, and need direction, and need inspiration and representation, because it's important. And we don't have that out here, but we're creating it. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I literally knew. That's why I'm not even gonna lie. That's why I said specifically Indigenous creatives, because I just knew you're gonna have something really powerful to say.
Well, thank you for that belief in me.
Thank you so much for, tapping in, and, whether you just watched the video, or whether you liked it, or whether you commented, and subscribed. I love you for that. And it's very much appreciated. And if you're here because, you've been rocking with me and you've been supporting me, make sure you go show that love as well, because, definitely always love to have new creatives, but I was really excited to do this collab. Literally I've been anticipating this collab for a month and a half now. Anticipating
I'm so glad that we made it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks,
yes, we definitely made some stuff shake. So thank you for coming on here and just sharing your words, sharing your knowledge, sharing your stories. I appreciate that a lot, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I think that wraps up the video. Make sure you guys comment, subscribe again, and that is all. We will see you guys next time.